had never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Well, g'day, folks. How are you? How are you? How are you? Hope you had a good weekend and didn't go and get too carried away. If you're on the Gold Coast, you probably saw a lot of things flying around, a lot of very exciting things flying around, I've got to say. Some magnificent photos, some great videos that have come out, and congratulations to all concerned who were involved with that. In fact, one of our friends was very dearly involved with that, very deeply rather, not dearly. I'm talking about Michael Offey. Michael, of course, runs the Camera House at Robina Town Centre, but he also, in league with Camera House, puts on an event every year at that Sky Show, that air show, where they take over an apartment and a whole bunch of people go in and take photos, and they take some of the most amazing aerial shots I've seen. So congratulations to Michael for being a part of all of that. And to everybody else who went along and had a great time. It seems like it was roundly really accepted by the Gold Coasters. They don't mind that one, I don't guess, because they don't have to close streets for it, although they do close off Central Surface Paradise, I believe, and you got to pay an admission fee to get down onto the beach if you want to be inside that performance zone. But these things fly in, pretty low from each end, and it doesn't really matter where you stand along that beach. During the Gold Coast Air Show, you get a bloody good show. So to everybody who went, I hope you had a great time. I know many of you sent messages and sent me a lot of photos, so thank you very much. Really appreciate it. You do know I do like flying. And thanks for all the photos of the Spitfire. And Mark Beretta, bastard, got to go for a fly in one. Another story. Paul, first in the house tonight. Good on you, brother. Trust you are well. And Western Australia is getting warm. I hope that's what you're doing. We've got to keep our thumbs up, as you say. Aussie Sue has also popped in with a general reminder. Like, subscribe. Hope you had a great weekend, Suze, and life, the universe has gone well. Scotty, the news, I saw this. You've written a song called Lonely Voice that you're proud of, and you want to send it to us. Please do. contrib.vofhq.com. That's the address to email the file to if it's a larger file. And send me an email after you've done that so we know to go in and get it. That would be great, Scotty. And what's going on here, John? Evening, everyone. We finally got a bit of rain in the Wide Bay. Been months. Well, you've got good land up there to accept that rain. A lot of fertile country, so to speak. Nice to have you in the chat tonight, buddy. Also in the house tonight, Andrew from Lightning Ridge is in the house. How the dog's going, mate? I hope the puppies are doing all right. Lady Ryder Rose is also in the house tonight. I'm scrolling down. Gomez, I've probably missed a whole heap of you. Good evening, Connie. I hope you and Alan are doing well. Had that conversation with a relative of the person we were conversating about the other day, Connie, and that, I think, has gone very positively. I know I'm talking in code, but it'll make sense one day. I'll get around to tell you what it's about, but at the moment it's just a bit private, shall we say. Who else haven't I said hello to? G'day, Gail. Hope you are doing well. And I've said g'day to Scotty. You're all very chatty to Scotty tonight. Everybody wants to hear your song, Scott, so don't forget to push it through. That's a lay down misère. We'll play it for you. Watta is in the house, about ready to go in for a bandage change. I'd say probably tomorrow or the next day. And I've got to say, the last photos that he sent me last week after the bandage change then, and the clean and scrape, as he likes to call it, it looked great. The foot looks, I mean, it's missing 2 toes, but it looks as great as a foot without 2 toes can look, I've got to say. So he's being a little more motivated and has moved house over the weekend, so I hope that all that went well for you, buddy, and that you've been able to not strain yourself in too many bad ways, so to speak. Who else is in the house? I'm not reading all these long things. Sandy is in the house. I always click on Sandy's. Hi, all. Hope you're safe and well. Been up since 2 o'clock in the morning, so in bed and you're probably asleep now. Wake up! Sorry, Sandy, if I woke you. I didn't mean to. Just thought pop and say hi. Gotta love your woman. She works tirelessly, and so does her other half, Baz, who will be snoring in the chair, no doubt, beside her, because if she's up, he's probably up. And I hope there was nothing too bad this morning. I'm sure she would have mentioned if we lost another donkey. G'day, Ian. Hope you are doing all right, mate. And the man from South Australia, Pete from Penaroo, has arrived. I hope the garlic is going well. Sabinator is in the house. Kellen, John, nice to have you in. Sunflower, God love you. Nice to have you in. Donna, I think I've got most people. If I've missed you, I apologize. I'm scrolling very quickly. G'day, Jenny. Crunch is in the room. Shane O'Brien. We're all got a few in. Oh, it's nice to see so many in tonight. Maybe it's the Q talk tonight that have got a few people in. I did notice that somebody mentioned, is Q still a thing? Well, Q has always been a thing. I started on this whole mission because of Q and because of Ricardo Bosi, I guess. I saw that speech that Ricardo made, like many others did, and thought that's a man I could vote into leadership in this country. Unfortunately, not to be the case for a variety of reasons. But Ricardo has consistently been pushing the Q message. In fact, nothing has changed in Ricardo's shtick, if you like. It is the same thing over and over and over, just at deeper and deeper and deeper levels. And he has to be commended for it, because he has put together what is a very focused and very dedicated explanation of the Q process. That includes military law, that includes uniform military codes of justice and all that sort of stuff. So he has been putting all that together. The problem that you have with any kind of topic, subject matter like that is that Q, to most people, is just the 17th letter of the alphabet. To a small amount of us, it is something more. And I will be the first to admit, I probably fell off the Q wagon, not because I stopped believing in what the Q drops were sort of saying or anything like that. It's just that I got sick and tired of seeing them being used and rolled out year after year after year on the same dates. And we all expecting to get all excited about these dates, and then nothing happens. And so it is that frustration of it not moving fast enough for me, and I think for many, many others. And I feel the pressure from a lot of you, because we have conversations, I get emails, and you feel it. You're saying the same thing. When will all this be over? You're starting to feel the stress. Now I think many of you are waking up to the fact that it's going to take a little bit longer than any of us had first envisioned. And because the layers of deception are so deep, it is taking us so very, very long. I guess this is a good time to point out what happened over the last couple of days with Elon Musk. He's released a song. I'm calling it the Q song, but to be honest, I think it's called The Lucky Land or something like that. It is. I'm going to play it for you in its entirety, and then we're going to come back and go through it, because there are some very interesting things both in it visually and being said. So watch this, folks. Listen intently and just keep an eye on the background, see what leaps out at you. Now, I don't for a moment begin to tell you, or I'm not about to tell you that, Q is all real and you should be bowing down to this form of communication, this code of communication, if you like. I'll be honest, jury is still out, but I want to believe and I want to have faith. And for that, I see no difference between that and the faith that one might put in God. Maybe a bit less of value. God's probably up a bit higher, but it is faith. If we do not believe something like what Q has prophesied is possible, then we will never be able to will it into existence. We will never be able to bring our vibrations high enough to bring it into existence, that existence that we want. I think this goes a long way to answering some questions and maybe giving a level of excitement to certain people as we go forward. So have a watch of this.
Sweet land, sweet land of the weary and the wild. Oh, where are you, my sweet The garden's either dying or about to come alive. The river's either drying or it's deep enough to dive. Can't tell if it's the dusk or if it's breaking into dawn. Are we going on or are we going? Somebody said a storm is coming, but it's been a long time. I don't know what's up ahead, but please, baby, don't you look behind. So tell me, is it gonna be free energy forever, or just the same damn old grind? Singing, sweet land of the weary and the wild. Are we 1 year from the grave, or is this just the beginning? My sweet child, oh, you're my star-spangled fever dream. Half a savior, half a liar. 250 summers and we're going higher, singing, sweet land, going. The neighbors might be coming with a casserole or a gun. The kids are either screaming or they're laughing in the sun. Is the timeline coming undone, or is it coming in clear? Lights are blinding, but I'll keep on dancing here. And nobody can promise me that we're gonna make it to the light. So is it an awakening, or is this a knife in the night? So come on, brother, sister, stand up tall, because guess what? Where we go one, we go all. If you can hear this from the other side, across this great quantum divide, don't get me wrong, now is the time to stay strong. So, with all of that, I'll say, God bless the USA! God bless the USA! Singing, sweet land, going on. 250 years and it's going on and on. So just go on and tell me those sweet lies, the kind as sweet as these Julys. Going on and going gone. Light up, light, light, fire. Sweet man's going on, going on. Sweet man, going, going, gone. So please, just know that we can still rebuild. We can still make something better.
So, what do you think of that? It's got a lot in it. There's a lot of messaging in it. And I see a few comments coming up in there. Let me try and get to those. I think we're getting a bit confused. Yada. Good to have you in. Who is the singer? It's an AI-created song. Crunch. You correctly identified that it's an AI-created song. And Paul says, yep, not a real note to be heard. I understand, Paul, you're a musician, and it is insulting in the most. Couldn't agree more. However, that's not the point. The point is, if you're going to use music as has been used against us, it's been used to help brainwash us. And those people, as you have already identified correctly in the chat tonight, you've been speaking about it. If you're in the music business and you choose to sign the contract, then your soul is forfeit for fame. Now, how do you make a song catchy? A lot of people also remark they quite like the song. How do you make a song catchy without making a demigod of the person singing it? You use AI because everybody says, oh, shit, that's AI. But then did you notice anything deeper? So put the AI to a side for a moment, because that is part of the tool. They're not creating another deity for kids to follow, you know, another clip. And if you, and we might just go back through it here. I don't know if you noticed, but the woman in it is the same woman in every shot, right? Not that woman or that one, but the singer, if you know what I mean, is the same in every shot. Oh, sweet land.
Sweet land of the weary and the wild. Oh, where are you, my sweet child?
Oh, where are you, my sweet child? A lot of JFK to bring it in with in the beginning. Anyway, I'll get to this bit.
The garden's either dying or about to come alive.
The garden's either dying or about to come alive. Sort of sums up our life, isn't it? We are either going from a crisis to not abundance exactly, but surviving. From crisis to survival. From crisis to survival.
The river's either drying or it's deep enough to dive.
Once again, the river's either dying or deep enough to dive. So in Australia particularly, we suffer drought or we suffer flood. And sometimes there's a happy medium in between where we can live happily for a little while. But how many of those floods are engineered?
Can't tell if it's the dusk or if it's breaking into dawn.
Could that be from darkness to light? Can't tell if it's from dusk or breaking into dawn.
Are we going on or are we going?
Notice the portal behind this woman. the AI created woman. Keep an eye on that portal.
Somebody said a storm is coming, but it's
See that storm head? Does it look like Donald Trump? Someone said a storm is coming. Here is Donald Trump's head.
been a long, long time. I don't know.
We're back at the portal again. Woman in uniform. Could that be a SpaceX uniform? Take note of the 4559 up in the top left-hand corner. That is a Q drop, which we probably, or that is another thing which we probably won't get to tonight, but we'll get to tomorrow night.
It's up ahead, but please, baby, don't you look behind. So tell me, is it gonna
Oh, let me just go back just a fraction. Could this
please,
be?
baby, don't you look behind.
Could that be a version of Looking Glass? Just
So tell me, is it gonna be free energy forever?
is it going to be free energy forever, or
Or just the same damn old grind?
is it going to be free energy forever, or is it going to be the same old damn grind? Also notice this AI creation is ripping off Katy Perry in just about every way, in every look, other than the, well, every hair look maybe, but not every clothes look. You see, Katy Perry gets around in everything from a banana suit to a bikini. All of these uniforms and clothes that this AI creation is wearing are conservative, are military in a lot of cases. And the ones that aren't are very Americana, cowboy stuff, you know, that kind of thing. There's a lot in there.
Sweet land of the weary and the wild.
Notice here we're getting a lot of late 50s, early 60s imagery. Sweet land. Lot of 50s imagery throughout this whole thing, late 50s imagery.
Are we 1 year from the
That is the JFK Memorial in Washington in the background there, of course, known for its layout in the letter Q.
grave? Or is this just the beginning? My sweet child, oh, you're my
Is it just the beginning, my sweet child? John F. K. Or JFK's memorial in the background. Could this be JFK Jr. coming back to life? And no, it's not 107, I can promise you.
star-spangled fever dream. Half a savior, half a liar. 250 summers and we're going
Keep an eye on these things that are flying around in the background.
Singing, sweet land, going, going, going.
Have you noticed a few things?
The neighbors might be coming with a casserole or a gun.
What have we been warning about when they flip the switch on those that the nanotechnology has really taken hold of? We've warned that they can be programmed more directly than ever before, and the worry is they'll turn up on your doorstep with a gun or do you some other form of mischief. The problem is you don't know. They could be turning up with a casserole to share with dinner.
The kids are either screaming or they're laughing in the sun.
Aren't our kids always like that? The division that they have injected into their lives through their education system or just in daily life. They're either screaming at each other, screaming at you, or they're out having a good time. There doesn't seem to be an in-between.
Is the timeline coming undone or is it coming in clear? The fireworks are blinding, but I'll keep on dancing here. And nobody can promise me that we're gonna make it to the light. So is it an awakening or is this a knife in the night? So come on, brother, sister, stand up tall, because we go one, we go.
Think that's pretty self-explanatory.
If you can hear this from the other side.
She is singing Into the Portal. If you can hear this from the other side. I don't think she's talking about the other side of death. I think she's talking about the other side.
Across this great quantum divide.
Oh, okay. The great quantum divide.
Don't get me wrong. Now is the time to stay strong. So, with all of that, I'll say, God bless the USA! God bless the...
And I bet your foot is tapping. I bet some part of you is singing along with this. We call that an anthemic song, something that's easy to remember, something that's short, and something that you can chant, something that builds momentum and power when you sing it, and it uplifts you. And I know you're feeling it. You can see me feeling it because you don't want me to pause the bloody song. I know you don't.
Going on. 250 years and it's going on and on the edge of a forever or the edge of being gone.
Did you notice all those presidents there? Do you notice anything about those presidents? Let's just go back, see if I can pause on them. I probably won't be able to, but I'll try. Who is the first one? Well, you might have thought that was George Washington. It's not. It's James Madison. Why is James Madison interesting? Madison was the 4th president of the United States and is sort of roundly referred to quite broadly as the father of the U.S. Constitution. Tricky Dicky Nixon. That's an interesting one. Not quite sure why they had him there, but you'll notice he was holding a red folder. JFK is doing the same. And you see Reagan's got the folder. George W. has a red folder. Obama had it. And Trump. So that might have gone through a bit fast, and I did change the view on those pictures. So let's show those again in a little broader frame. This is Jackson. It's not Jackson. That's Madison holding that red folder. Why is the red folder important? It's because Donald Trump in I want to say it was 2018 or 2019, held up a red folder and he said, we have it all. We've got all the details. That's where the red folder comes from. So what did that, we all thought that referred to the pedophiles or to the Epstein details or to whatever, but this would indicate that potentially something a little older has gone on. And the red folder contains secrets that Madison and Lincoln and Teddy Roosevelt had. JFK had the red folder. Nixon had the red folder. Ronald Reagan had the red folder. And turned to, if in the video, he goes to turn towards the portal, right? So does JFK. Neither of them make it to the portal. Here, George W., he has the red folder, but he turns away from the portal, like he turns back around towards the camera. I'll play it again for you here, but you've got to have eyes, quick eyes to see it, right? And then there is Obama, who is holding the red folder, but is clearly being apprehended by someone. Then there's Biden, who just looks appalled and confused, and that is the fake Biden holding a red folder. But keep an eye out in the clip because there is another appearance of him and he looks very unhappy. And then in this little segment, there is this with Donald Trump waving the red folder as he's stepping into the portal, signifying us stepping forward into the future. That is what we're believing to be put forward. Okay. Shall we have a look?
Morning, is it ruining? Is it time to rise?
Oh, we're going to play those again, won't we? Have a watch from here.
250 years and it's going on and on the edge of a forever or the edge of being gone. Is it midnight? Is it morning? Is it ruining? Is it time to rise? 250 summers gone by. So just go on and tell me those sweet lies. The kind as sweet as these July. Going on and going gone. Light up, light, Sweet man's going on, going on. Sweet man, going gone. So please, just know that we can still rebuild. We can still make something.
Anyway, bit interesting. Take from it what you will. And I know there are plenty of people who see all sorts of weird shit, including you, Black Sheep, who seem to see the all-seeing eye in there somewhere in the portal. But anyway, we all see different things. Take from it what you will and do with it what you will. I found it rather interesting and rather intriguing that so many things seem to line up. I also find it interesting watching a lot of the comments in here that a lot of you get very easily distracted away from what you are meant to be, I guess, discerning, and you get caught up on the small shit like it's an AI-produced song. I've explained why you would use AI if you could for something like this, because you do not want to create a deity. You do not want to create another rock star for people to follow. All right? You're just following the same plan that's been used against us forever. This way, they can make as many songs as they like using the same head, putting in different clothes and in different positions. And it makes no difference. We don't follow for the person. We follow for the message in the song or just because you like the song. You don't have to get any message out of it, and I'm not suggesting you should. Just, you need to be a bit open to some of these things. And I know, there is some numpty in there at the moment who I've nearly had enough time playing with, and I might be done with you in the near future. For some reason or other, I don't seem to be able to kick you. So somebody has changed my settings. I'm going to have to go in and have a look. I'm just throwing out there some ideas that have been put forward. Nobody is telling you what to think. Most people who push back are incapable of thinking. And a lot of times I've found when I've pointed something out that is pretty obvious when you actually have it pointed out to you, a lot of people, trolls especially, are probably a bit embarrassed that they missed it. And then they have to come up with a way of dismissing it so they feel better about themselves that they missed it. Trolls, I don't care whether you get it or you don't anymore. The time where I did care was maybe 3 years ago. Then I would work to try and get you to see the light. But now I don't care anymore about you. You've had your chance as far as I'm aware. You know what you're going to get by coming to this channel. If you're just coming in to throw shade, what sort of piss weak existence do you have where you feel that's actually contributing? You're not. If you were going to contribute, you would maybe take your balls out of your pants and put them on the table, start your own show and put forward your own ideas. But that takes away your anonymity, and I'm afraid that's where your balls come from too, your anonymity. You can hide behind a fake name and a fake email address and proffer all sorts of abuse. You and people like you are the reason that humanity is not raising its vibration, because you are too self-centered, too self-focused, too desperate to score points against someone like me who honestly, and look at me deeply in the eyes here, does not give a fuck what you think. Not saying that to upset you, just giving you the honest truth, hoping you can push past whatever piss weak little hatred thing you have going. Because when you can push past that, you're going to be a better human being. Your vibration will lift. You might get in tune with a few other things, and you might find your attitudes change. But at the moment, I wish I could be more positive in what I could say about you, troll. I really do. I'd like to think that because you hang around so long and you seem to like watching this show, you are learning something, or there is something, you're getting a laugh out of it, or for whatever reason it is. If it is to go away and make your own little bits and pieces out of my show, then that's fine. I don't mind. Thank you for the cross promotion. I appreciate it. And I am very much of the school in that all promotion is good promotion. All exposure is good exposure. And I don't care whether you're writing some diatribe about me or others or what. Couldn't care less. Couldn't care less. Unless you attract my attention to it and you expect me to, well, I would praise it if it actually had anything worthwhile. But things like that, you trolls very rarely offer anything of value in what you create. All you offer is spit, vitriol, piss-poor prose, and a tired delivery. This show wasn't going to be about trolls, but a few of them seem to have come out and they want to jump all over Q. And I don't care whether you believe in Q or you don't believe in Q. There are enough people out there that have an interest in it, as I do, and it's my show, so I'll talk about whatever I want to talk about. And tonight, it happens to be about Q. Hasn't been about Q in a long, long time. But I'm just pointing out that there are some interesting things popping up on the radar that if you are a Q follower or have been and maybe swayed from it like I had and was trying to explain to you, that when things like this pop up, they make you go, Well, they make some of us go, A lot of the others, it makes them go, jab me, because they're not very smart. And some of you just decide you must have more brains than the rest of us, and you come into rooms like ours to show your supreme cranial authority. I'm a bit lost on you. I don't know why you'd bother. You can be guaranteed I would not waste a second of my day going into any of your rooms or your sites and listen to anything you have to say, because judging by what I've heard and seen so far, you bring nothing of value to the conversation. If you did bring something of value to the conversation, I would have you on in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. But all you have is very tiny balls hiding behind anonymity, where you think being a keyboard warrior is actually fighting the war, brother, whether it be against fucktards like me or others that you deem to be less intelligent, less smart, less everything than you. So good luck with your ego. Good luck with attacking people like me who don't care. I mean, I cannot begin to tell you how little you matter. Other than in the big scheme of things, we'd like to save as many lives as we can going forward. But there are some of them I really question why we bother. I really do. And you'd be one of those. At any rate, did you check out some of the interesting things behind the scenes when it came to what's flying in the skies in that video? That is a sort of late 60s, 70s sort of jet. This in the background could be, it's not a plane, it could be a missile, an intercontinental ballistic missile, maybe. There is another one of those in the video that shows up. It steps up a bit. Here's something that looks a bit more stealthy and a little more next gen. That could be even 6th generation fighter. Then there's this sort of drone technology that is in the background of that one. I found this one a bit interesting. And if you want to go back through this later, folks, I haven't done it, but I would suggest you have a look at the age of the uniforms, what years those uniforms were issued and represent. And here's another one with a much more stealthy looking 7th generation fighter. Some weird shit going on in the world in there. So that's just some of the things to pick up in the video. There is one final shot in it where the clock is at 1:57. Funnily enough, that rounds up with a Q drop, 1:57. What is key? What is a key? What is a key used for? What is a guard? What is a guard used for? Who unlocked the door of all doors? Bear in mind, this Q drop came out on the 20th of November, 2017. It goes on. Was it pre-planned? Do you believe in coincidences? What is information? Who controls the release of information? Who has all of the information? Who disseminates information? What is the MSN, or the mainstream media, and who controls mainstream media? More people have become aware of ownership in mainstream media and what mainstream media really represents in the last 12 months than I believe in the last 20 years. That's not entirely due to Karl Stefanovic walking away from Nine, but last night's Logies Awards were a great indication. Nobody cares. I couldn't tell you who won any award on the night. I can tell you that through reading headlines, Robert Irwin got a mixed bag reaction. I imagine a lot of the girls thought he was great. He got criticized for doing a dancing act at the front of the show. He's not known for his singing. And there has always been some sort of big act at the front of the bloody Logies. So why wouldn't he put his Dancing to the Hills or Marrying a Farmer or whatever he was in to the fore? I mean, he won Dancing with the Stars, didn't he, in America and here? So, of course, they're going to use him for that. Somebody else wrote his comedy for him, have absolutely no doubt. And there was a couple of pieces in it that made their audience feel very comfortable and made those of us watching very uncomfortable. Jokes about, Karl Stefanovic was one of them. And you could see on the table in that shot, after he'd made the Karl Stefanovic joke, that even the 9 personalities sitting at the table we're starting to just see how lesser they are now. Their biggest star has gone out and is sitting on our side of the independent fence. Mainstream media is dead. They know it is dead. That little fiasco and festival that they had in Sydney last night, and I've been lucky or unlucky enough, I should say, to have gone to a couple of these Logie events. All it is just a festival of evil. It is all of these anointed, soulless beings coming together to pat themselves on the back and feel so wonderful and watch a bunch of screaming teenagers yell at them as they walk in and out of the building. And some of them have more nefarious ideas with those teenagers. Anyway, back to this. What is the mainstream media? Who controls the mainstream media? Who really controls the mainstream media? Why are we made to believe the mainstream media are the only credible news sources? Who controls the mainstream media? Who really controls the mainstream media? Why is this relevant? Why is it relevant that mainstream media are the only credible news source? Well, it's relevant because mainstream media are desperate to maintain their grip on the programming they're feeding you. Less and less and less people are watching mainstream media every day. More and more are picking up channels and watching alternate media, alternate news. A lot of it being put together as looking like a real news service, not some guy sitting here in a flannel having a bit of a chat with you. A lot of it is starting to look like professionally produced news services. I don't have the budget or the money or the time. It's just me. But certainly the likes of Carl Stefanovic with a couple of $1 million in the pocket to spend on it. Well, if I had that, I'd be doing it too. It's how it has to be done. We need to step up to be that next credible level of media, and part of that is looking like it. So anyway, why are non-MSN platforms cast as conspiracy and or non-credible? Why are non-mainstream media platforms cast as conspiracy and non-credible? I'm not sure why they're repeating this. What happens when an entity and or individual accumulates power? Define corruption. Wealth equals power. Power equals influence. Influence equals control. Rinse and repeat. What power of influence was recently discovered? Specifically, read the 2026 election. The power of influence over the 2026 election? You remember that? Hillary had paid $20 million to Dominion voting machines to make sure she won that election. Remember how she didn't come out at the end of the night? She was shell-shocked, could not come out. I don't think she ever did actually wish him all the best for winning the election. That was a bit of a shell shock, though, 100%. The 2016 election. How much power and influence does Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, etc. have in influencing the minds of people? That is still in argument today. This was written in 2017. It's relevant today. 100% relevant today. What is open source? What has become blatantly obvious since the election of PUSS? Why would they allow this visibility to occur? Were they not prepared to counter? What miscalculation occurred? What opposite impact did this generate? How did PUSS recognize and invert? What happens when an entity and or individual accumulates power? It's telling a bit of a story of the last 4, 5, 6 years there, probably 10 years. Define corruption, define censorship, define controlled censorship. What action is Twitter taking effectively mid-December? What is the purpose of the action and the possible test to understand public? So I did a little search up to discover what Twitter in those days actually did. And there were some very significant changes to Twitter's operating policies in 2018 and in 2017. In 2017, location doxing rules changed and high-profile suspensions followed. In 2018, they announced in the December, adjacency controls were launched and competing social network links were temporarily prohibited. Gold, blue, and grey verification labels were expanded and a few other bits and pieces. They seem to have made, on December 16, 2020, Twitter announced it was restoring the standard retweet mechanism after evaluating its election-related changes. So you might remember that there was huge suppression and censorship of Twitter at the time, and took Elon Musk a little while, but he wound up going and buying the bloody thing and changing it to X and stepping forward from there. So I just think there's been a lot of very interesting sort of similarities, shall we say, in what that song has brought out. And it's interesting that Elon Musk tweeted it or X'd it or whatever they do from X these days. And I found it a very interesting dive into some old Q stuff that I'd basically forgotten. So if you didn't enjoy it, well, sorry you've hung around for the show, but if you didn't enjoy it, you've probably left already. So off you go. If you have left already, then you've missed something, I must say, is absolutely spectacular. This, ladies and gentlemen, is from the Cairns News. I can't recommend the Cairns News high enough to you, folks. If you want to get real news, real truth, and real reporting, the cairnsnews.org is the website. Now, this is their latest Steve Hunter cartoon. Of course, Murray Watt, the great white hope, is trying to protect all the birds in Australia from bird flu. And he's now suggesting a second jab, but he's a bit unsure as to how they're going to identify the birds that they've given the first jab to. I shit you not, they are running around, I'm guessing Phillip Island at the moment, jabbing penguins. And that is because they found one dead little penguin. Now, I don't know, not exactly sure if this little penguin is actually called a little penguin. Well, last time I was at Phillip Island, the little penguins on Phillip Island were called fairy penguins. And they are relatively little. I mean, like, they're not emperor penguins, they're fairy, small, tiny penguins. But have they been renamed? Is that something I missed out? Did the Asians find fairy penguin too hard to pronounce? So little penguin became a bit easier. I'm just wondering. I know there's a lot of busloads of tourists go down there. Was it done for pronunciation's sake? Whatever it is, it's freaking ridiculous. Cairns News have got a great story up about it all, though. Vaccinating birds or humans, from Peter McCulloch this is just a giant mistake. Now, Cairns News and the Voice of Freedom working together here, folks. If you are in the community and you see some ranger trying to vaccinate one of our birds, we want to get photos of it, please. All right? We actually want to see whether or not this is happening, or, Murray Twat is just having a lend of us all. Because so far, while they're saying it's being done, there is absolutely no evidence of it. And it's beyond stupid. Anyway, gain-of-function research of bird flu has been conducted in Georgia in the US, a US laboratory, to infect mallard ducks, which have escaped and have spread the strain worldwide, according to Dr. Peter McCulloch. Now, Dr. Peter McCulloch is someone who you can pretty much stand on his research. The McCulloch Foundation says that the current strain of bird flu is man-made. Only 10,000 chickens have died from the disease in the past 4 years, but many millions of chickens have been killed trying to stop it. And that, of course, stops eggs coming into the food supply for humans. And what do eggs do? They screw with the spike protein in your jab. China, in a good way for us, not a good way for them. China has tried vaccinating chickens for 2 decades. It backfired and made the virus spread even further. The biosecurity measures taken are far worse than the disease itself. And he said that the chickens and the cattle can get natural immunity. Where did we hear that once before? From bird flu. Vaccines are a play for the vaccine industry to reap massive profits from stupid, imbecilic morons in governments like ours. Murray Watt, I'm speaking about you, you moron, rabbit, to spend much more money forking out for this pointless vaccine. The US government, of course, has invested in Moderna a huge amount of money to try and save, and I'm sure the Australian government will be doing something pretty similar right now. There is no human-to-human spread that we have ever had in the US or anywhere else. No bird flu has ever spread to humans. So if you are starting to get ready to panic, don't, and that's why you cannot trust mainstream media. And some of those questions that came out in the little piece I read to you earlier should start you questioning if you have half a brain. I know that the trolls don't. They would prefer to try and come up with something witty. And shit, we could wait an eternity before one of them comes up with something witty. This is something fairly witty, I thought. The Catholic Biblical Association has elected a Jewish scholar as its new president. Professor Amy Jill Levine says that one of her major aims is to attack supposedly anti-Jewish interpretations of Christian scripture. Just between you, me, and the gatepost, I'm pretty confident that in the Bible, right around the part where Jesus was nailed to a cross and had a sword, not a sword, a spear put through his heart. I thought that was done by the Jews. In the telling in the Bible, they get off pretty lightly. They blame it on the Romans, I think. Is that how it works? Why would you have a Jewish person come in and oversee the Catholic Biblical Association with a direct view of changing the way that Jews appear in the Bible? Things that make you go, I think so. All right, folks, going to love you and leave you for tonight. If I've made your head spin with the Q stuff, I apologize. If it's just not your thing, then okay, that's cool. You didn't have to watch the whole show, but I'm glad you did. Very appreciative of you for doing it. And I think in recollection of that, you should head over to our merch site and check out some of the new merch. Vince has spent some time putting up over the weekend. T-shirts, I think there's a new cap. I think there might be a couple of new mugs. They're not in the Kakistocracy group. They're in a different setting, but you can go over and check that out. And, of course, we would be very, very welcome of any help that you can give us going forward. We got a bill today for what it's going to cost to get new rubber for the bus back on the road. You don't want to know, but it's 4 figures. So the fun things we do. At any rate, you buy something with big tires, it needs big tires to fix it up. Problem is, plenty of meat on the tires, just out of date. So that's the only bugger with it. Before I go, I want to give you just something here to think about from Queensland, but it really is an Australian perspective. It's called castle law, and castle law is about protecting yourself, your family, inside your home if somebody breaks into your home. Now, there was a meeting recently in Queensland about castle law and how it could get voted and legislated through the parliament. The Katter family, Robbie Katter in particular from the Katter Australia Party, has been the proponent of this legislation and fighting to get it across. Folks, listen to what this man says.
I'm pretty upset at the moment. We just had castle law public hearings here in Parliament House in Brisbane, and I'm pretty wound up. I wish in politics, like if it's Labor or Liberal, they just say no, we don't agree with this in principle and we're not going to support it, but they've got all these clever ways, the word is obfuscate, to muddy the waters, to make it as unclear as possible to you what their intention actually is. And today, they kept nitpicking away at castle law, saying, create more violence and more crime, or what about these technicalities? Couldn't possibly vote for this how it is. To which I replied, well, put some amendments in then. You've got all the government resources at your hands. I don't have much resources in the Cape. But you've got all the resources. If you agree with me in principle, do you agree in principle? They won't answer that. What they'll say, what the Premier will continue to say is, we'll rule nothing out, which is a clever response. It's misleading because it's not saying we don't agree with it, and you can't say, they said no. It says we're not ruling anything out. So they can string you along for the next 5 years saying, don't worry, we'll get to it. And to me, that's a lot worse than just saying no. And that's what they did today, and I assure you, they don't want to support it. They've got every opportunity to tidy it up with amendments, fix whatever it is they think the problem is. And all these MPs that run around for the LNP in the regions will be saying, it's just messy, it's just difficult. It's not difficult. They've got the resources to do this now if they want. Ask them if they agree with it in principle or not. That's the tough question that they won't answer.
That's exactly right. Ask them if they agree in principle with it. It doesn't matter what state you are in. Castle law should be enacted in every state. You should have the right to protect yourself, your family, and your property from the little shits that are currently invading it, armed to the teeth. Not necessarily with guns, but with machetes and all manner of other things. Ordinarily, you would expect support from the government, but the government, only has money for other things. In fact, $300 million they've decided to give to, wait for it, the Commonwealth Bank.
Australian people would be staggered to learn that $300 million of their taxpayer money is going to an organisation that delivered a $6.989 billion profit last year. I believe you've got a $300 million partnership with the Clean Energy Finance Corporation. Can you just talk me through that partnership and what that involves?
If the customer application complies with the clean energy setting, it means that we are able to offer a lower interest rate.
So the customer gets the lower interest rate. Is your margin still protected? Is that $300 million essentially covering your margin?
We can fact check that, but my understanding is that it is, and that it's the Clean Energy Foundation that's funding the
so it's the
Oh, they didn't like me playing that one, did they? Sorry about that. It was right just about at the end anyway, so I'll bring myself back up there. I was just about to say goodnight. Interesting, though, that our government would go and give $300 million to a bank that made over $9 billion profit last year. That's $300 million of our money paid through your hard work and your taxes. They go and give it to a mob who made $300 billion and took how many houses off people last year? Okay, they might be responsible for helping put people into debt for quite a few more than they took back. But that list of houses being taken back by the banks is growing on a daily basis now. The list of bankruptcies, people going bankrupt in this country, is going through the roof. That 5% homeowners grant that the government said was going to be, so great to get young couples into the market. Well, that one, folks, that's coming back to roost. Turns out not all the dickheads are on the roads. We have them living in Parliament and making our laws.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!